Good evening, and welcome to Educate Our Youth. My name is Janet Thompson. I am your host this afternoon. I'm also the CEO and co founder of the Mamie Keith and Allie Bradley Educational Foundation, also known as Educate Our Youth. The mission of Educate Our Youth is to make college more accessible through education, mentoring, professional development, and any other means available to students by offering programs such as ACT and SAT workshops, college tours, assistance in applying for financial aid, college academics over athletes, young entrepreneurship, and financial literacy. Our guest this afternoon is Miss Nade Beaty. She's with the youth. She's a youth apprenticeship coordinator. Good evening. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So you've been on before, but tell us a little bit about yourself because you're working in another capacity today.
Yes, ma'am. I am a youth apprenticeship coordinator with Apprenticeship Carolina, which is housed underneath the South Carolina Technical College System organization. So in my role, I'm responsible for not only providing outreach to get these students in these apprenticeship opportunities, but also just educating our community about what's available and kind of acting as a mediator between the colleges, the businesses, and our community-based organization and schools to make sure that all the information is being disseminated to everyone who is a stakeholder.
Okay, sounds great. So give us a little history on apprenticeship.
So apprenticeships have been around pretty much since the beginning of time. However, like the definition of apprenticeships and the availability of them across the states has dwindled over the years, but the U.S. Department of Labor has realized the importance of apprenticeships, especially with our youth, and how they can impact our communities. So last year, in June of 2020, the South Carolina Technical College System was actually awarded nearly $11.5 million from the U.S. Department of Labor to assist with apprenticeships across the state of South Carolina. There were two grants that were awarded. It was the SCIARI grant, which is specifically for youth apprenticeships, and that was around $4.5 million, and the SAE grant, which is the State Apprenticeship Expansion Grant, and that was almost $7 million, and that covers both youth and adult apprenticeships across the state of South Carolina. So what we're trying to do is not only increase the availability of these programs to our youth and adults, but also being able to kind of reconstruct the perception that some people have around apprenticeships. A lot of people say they're not paid, or they're not really in positions where you're going to be able to move forward with them. But the U.S. Department of Labor and the South Carolina Technical College System together have really made sure that what our youth are attending and what they're interested in is going to be beneficial for them in the long run.
So what's the definition of the youth apprenticeship program?
Okay. So youth apprenticeship is going to be, it is designed and defined to cater to ages 16 to 24. The U.S. Department of Labor actually reconstructed that age range because they seen that was the most, that was a high priority group. I'll just say that,
Okay.
that could be impacted positively by youth apprenticeships.
Okay.
Youth apprenticeship includes job-related education. So that would take place at Horry Georgetown Technical College for Horry and Georgetown counties, or it can even take place online or on-site at that business. It's all up to that business owner about how they want to construct that youth apprenticeship program. It also includes paid work experience or on-the-job training. So they're actually having the opportunity to earn while they learn. So they're going to the job site and basically implementing whatever they've learned in the classroom right there on the job, and being able to transfer that information over into, that physical hands-on work is a great way for retention as far as, being able to practice those skills and being able to master them. And the last component of a registered apprenticeship would be wage progression. So students actually would start at a base wage that is come up with our consultant and the employer to make sure that is competitive. And as they meet milestones throughout their program, they actually get an increase. So let's say Tommy may be in a welding program with a local employer, and every time he does a MIG or a TIG weld or something of that nature that demonstrates mastery or efficiency in that course, he may get 50-cent raise, $1 raise per hour, so that at the end of his apprenticeship, he'll be actually at a good starting wage to start a full-time employment with that employer.
So you reach out to high schools in order to recruit. Where does your recruiting begin? Is it through high schools or through WIA, or how do you recruit these students?
All of the above, because our program is tailored to both in-school and out-of-school youth. So
Okay.
if there are kids that are out of school that are working with WIOA within that 16 to 24 age range, they would be able to be referred to our program. We also work with community-based organizations. Churches can even refer students if they think that it would be a good fit for them. And of course, the schools are our main source to refer students for apprenticeships that may fit their interests and they have the skill level to start in an entry-level apprenticeship.
Okay, so what is a registered apprenticeship program?
So a registered apprenticeship program has those three components that I talked about, and then it's also registered with the U.S. Department of Labor. So that means that all of the curriculum that they're learning, all the training that they're going through on the job and in the classroom, it is meeting a industry level. So we're making sure that what they learn here, they're able to take to California. And that also comes with an industry recognized credential from the Department of Labor at the completion of the youth apprenticeship. So we're making sure that they're learning what they need to on the job to be successful and efficient in their positions, but also being able to have that freedom to leave the state if they want to. We know South Carolina is great, but if they decided to go elsewhere, that they can take that credential with them without having to incur all of the student loan debt that may be associated with a longer term program that would take place, after high school. But this is something that can happen at the same time. You can be getting your high school diploma and also getting your apprenticeship completed at the same time. We actually hope that they would complete at the same time. So when students complete high school, they have a Department of Labor credential, they have all that experience, that knowledge, and they're able to take that anywhere that they would like to go.
And that's great, especially because South Carolina doesn't retain their students as much as other states because of the job industry here. So that's a good thing that they can take what they learn and go to Jersey or anywhere where there's industry and apply it. So what are the benefits of having a registered apprenticeship program?
So the benefits are good for both parties, the youth and the businesses. So youth have the opportunity to earn while they learn. As we know, some youth have responsibilities outside of the household and they aren't able to volunteer or, do those other things to get that on the job skill set or, training without pay. So we're making sure that they can be able to be participating in these apprenticeships and getting paid. So they're going to be able to actually walk away with a nice little savings account. They're going to learn money management services while they're going through this program. After they complete their apprenticeship, they can enter into an adult apprenticeship if they would like to with that business or even another employer if they would like to go ahead and increase their skill set and kind of have upward mobility not only in that company, but in the industry in itself. It's on careers, they're able to start having that conversation about what they would like to do long-term earlier. And the U.S. Department of Labor, apprenticeship.gov is a great resource. They actually had a study where it showed that 94% of apprentices who completed an apprenticeship program were retained employment and had an average annual salary of $70,000. And like that alone could be a big thing because you don't have to worry about paying for that education yourself. It's paid for.
Right.
That is low to no cost for our students and that they can go ahead and, continue on their path with their career without having that debt holding them back.
Someone just chimed in and she asked, Ms. Brumell asked, what grade or age could a high school student come in to use this program?
Great question. So, and I guess I can talk about pre-apprenticeships in this question. So pre-apprenticeships are, I guess you would say, a preview of that industry and that occupation and that employer that the student can be involved in. And that can start as early as 8th grade for our pre-apprenticeships. And for our youth apprenticeships, which are the registered programs with the U.S. Department of Labor, that would start at grades 11th and 12th. Because we know that in the 10th grade, I believe, that's when they indicate what career and technical education courses they would be interested in. So at that point, we would be able to work closely with the schools to be able to offer that work-based learning component through apprenticeship.
Okay. Tell me, I don't know if you so they earn wages while working in the apprenticeship program. Is the wages minimum wage or below minimum wage or above minimum wage?
So it's definitely going to be minimum wage or higher. It's not going to be below. We're going to make sure that they are being compensated correctly because they are going to be considered an employee of that company. So if they are chosen for a registered apprenticeship program, they would be hired on as an employee. But our consultant, Mr. Travis King, he works with the businesses to make sure that they are offering a competitive wage because we want students to be interested and engaged in this opportunity and to be willing to stay with that employer long term once their apprenticeship ends. So they are competitive wages. We do not choose them, but we give them the information on what's going to be the best fit for not only their industry, but also for that apprenticeship program.
Okay. So you're connected with the schools in which county? In Horry County and Georgetown? What are your counties?
Horry and Georgetown are my counties.
Okay. And so you're in these schools on a monthly basis? How often are you in the schools so that students will know that this is available to them?
So I work closely with the CTE directors in the school district so that I can disseminate that information to them, which is then given to their counselors. And the counselors would
Okay.
be in contact with the students, the CTE teachers and stuff to be able to tell them more about the apprenticeship opportunities. And I would be going into the classroom, especially once COVID lets up a little bit and we're able to, integrate back into that normal swing. I'll be able to go into the classrooms and give a presentation about what we have and be able to go over applications and everything and get that information from students to then turn it over to that employer.
Okay, Ms. Brumel just asked another question. Is pre-law and industry for this type of program?
Yes, ma'am. I can say that I'll try to get to the bottom of the apprenticeship occupations list, and I haven't made it there yet.
Okay.
There's nothing as a non-apprenticeable occupation. So pre-law
Okay.
into that. Yes, ma'am.
So what other areas might fall into that category? Are you familiar with?
So what our clusters that we're focusing on for apprenticeships would be, and I just want to make sure I get them all. 1 second. Construction technologies, advanced manufacturing, energy and utilities, healthcare, information technology, tourism and service industries, and transportation, distribution, and logistics.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
these are our targeted industries, but if there are
Right.
any employers that are outside of these industries that were interested or have a registered apprenticeship program, they would still be eligible to create one. The reason why we targeted these industries is just because of the impact that we're going to be seeing in the next couple of years due to the silver tsunami cohort nearing retirement age. So we want to make sure that the industries that are going to be impacted the most are being addressed or, getting
Okay.
students interested in there fast enough so that they can learn from those senior employees before they are lost to that company and all that knowledge goes with them.
Exactly, exactly. So what do your team consist of?
Our team at Horry Georgetown Technical College includes Travis King, which is our consultant,
Mhm.
our registered program specialist, Shay Sinclair, myself, youth apprenticeship coordinator, and then our Horry Georgetown Technical College representative, which is Miss Julie Golden. Travis is going to be working closely with businesses and helping them create that registered apprenticeship program or pre-apprenticeship program if they're interested, and being able to register their program with the U.S. Department of Labor. Shay is going to be that ongoing support for the business side of things as they're going through their youth apprenticeship process. So if they have any questions about additional supplies that may be needed for apprentices or any concerns that they may have about apprentices' ability to participate, so that we're able to assist before it gets to a point where they're no longer able to. And then I would be that support similar to Shay, but specifically for the students and our stakeholders in the community, such as yourself and the schools and other community-based organizations.
So you house at Horry Georgetown Tech?
Yes,
Is that where
ma'am.
your office is?
Yep, Grand Strand campus.
Oh, you're on the Grand Strand campus. Okay, okay. So what is registered apprenticeship beneficial workforce strategy is?
Say that one more time.
What is the apprenticeship workforce strategy?
So how we are catering to our businesses.
Hmm.
Gotcha. So in catering to our businesses, Travis would work closely with them on that and being able to indicate what specifically that business needs. So if they say, we need more, I'll go with the welding example, pipe fitters or something of that nature, they would determine what skill sets are going to be required for someone to be efficient in a welding position or a pipe fitter position, and being able to apply that job-related education, creating that schedule for training and on-the-job training, as well as the wage progression schedule. And businesses are able to receive $1,000 tax credit per apprentice for up to 4 years of the apprenticeship. So if a student or an adult apprentice is on site for 7 months out of a year, they get $1,000 tax credit just for having that apprentice on site and being able to or being willing to host that apprenticeship. So we're making sure that businesses are also being supported throughout this process, and that they're also being rewarded for having youth apprenticeships.
Okay, Ms. Broomer asked another question. Can students in virtual schooling participate? And if so, how do they go about getting involved?
Yeah. So if they're in virtual school, I would have to, even if they were in a homeschool association, like they would still be able to gain access to this program. So I would be, if you're watching here at Educate Our Youth, I would be sending you that information through Miss Janet here, and she would be able to let participants know about what opportunities would be available. They would just have to complete the application, or first would be reaching out to me so that I can discuss the application process. And then once I send that application to the parent or the student, it just has to be filled out, and then I would send that over to the employer.
It sounds great. And how could they reach you if they wanted to reach you as well?
To reach me, they can reach me at my email, which is beaty@sctechsystem.com, .edu, I'm sorry, or my cell phone, which is 803-240-4553. And you can call or text me on that number. I'm open and willing to assist in any way that I can.
Okay. So how many students would you say you are participating now? I know with COVID and everything, how many students are you working with now doing this year?
So youth apprenticeship is brand new as far as like having youth apprenticeships in Horry County and Georgetown. It's brand new. So we're actually in the creation phase. We have 3 to 4 employers that we're working with right now, and we're finishing up on that registered apprenticeship program. So they're still in their beginning phase with Travis, but they're about to be nearing that relatively soon. And we're hoping that by the end of this year, we're going to actually have somewhere near 100 youth apprentices to go through our program.
That would be great. That would be great. And that would be within Horry County, or the combination of the 2 counties?
Combination of the 2.
Okay. So so you house here. So how do you reach out to those in Georgetown County?
So because Horry Georgetown Tech does have that other site there in Georgetown, I do go around to the campuses and I communicate with them frequently via email, of course, Zoom, and being able to disseminate information or even telephone call. We keep in good contact because we like to make sure that not only their participants have access to our services, but if we know anyone that may be in need of their services, that we have a good understanding of what other organizational services are available.
Okay. Are y'all in Williamsburg County also?
There is an apprenticeship program in Williamsburg. I'm not the youth apprenticeship coordinator for that area, but they do have someone that is actually stationed within that school that does offer youth apprenticeships and would be able to be a contact for that.
Okay. So is there anything else we need to know about the apprenticeship program that could benefit the community?
Yes. I think that the most important thing about apprenticeships, in my opinion, would be that it provides students a direct path to middle-class income, which sometimes takes a lot of, having to go to school, having to be in debt, a lot of things like that. But this will provide them that direct pathway, which is in high school, like they can be in high school. So that's something that's very unique about it. And for businesses and for our community, it's a way to increase economic equity across the board and not only create, but sustain a inclusive and diverse community. The most diverse workforces are the most successful. Studies have shown this. So we just need to make sure that we're impacting our communities by implementing this program. It's a win-win situation.
Yeah, it is. It sounds like a great program, fantastic program. I heard about this program last year, and actually a couple of years ago, but I had was fortunate enough to meet somebody from your organization last year that came on as a guest. But it's been a pleasure having you on. But before you go, I want to read something that I received by email today from a friend of mine, well, actually a neighbor. We grew up together. But this is very important, and I want to read it. I also posted on Facebook. It says this, I'm sharing this message from Dr. Glenda Glover, president of Tennessee State University, and her community affairs liaison, Ms. Barbara Murrell. There is a program between Tennessee State and Meharry Medical College where the student would go to the TSU for 3 years and then on to Meharry and finish to become an MD or dentist in 7 years instead of the traditional 8 years. They have enough females already signed up for the program and no black males. If you know any black male who are high school seniors that want to become a medical doctor, have 28 on the ACT, a 3.5 GPA, I have a possible free ride for them at Tennessee State University. You can send prospective candidates information to gussie.fuller@gmail.com. Again, I repeat that you can send any information about prospective candidates to Gussie, GUSSIE, .fuller, FULLER, @gmail.com. I will forward to President Glover and Ms. Murrell. The students' information needs to be submitted ASAP. So, community out there, this is posted on my website, on my Facebook page. Also, if you have any questions about what I read, you missed some of it, you can always contact me at mkab001@gmail.com. And Ms. Brumel said she asked, you love this. She said they get direct training without the debt, and I love the financial development that comes with this. So you have a fan for the apprentice program, but it's really a fantastic program, and I really appreciate you coming on. If you have any questions, you can reach Naday again at her email, which is
BeatyN@sctechsystem.edu or my cell phone at 803-240-4553.
Thank you so much for coming on this afternoon. And next week, our guest is supposed to be a admission counselor from Johnson C. Smith University out of Charlotte. So look forward to seeing you all next week. I hope you all tune in to the program.
Wonderful. You guys take care.
You too. Thank you for coming on.
Of course.